Think I got it. I think I got it. Y'all are watching me play with Instagram. Okay. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. It is so good to be back. I feel like it's been a long time. I know why, because last year I was actually, not last year, last week, I was actually broadcasting from Sam's Club. So this week, we got a different flow going. So, hey, we are ready, ready to go live. Hello, hello, hello. I'm going to let a couple people jump in here today. I plan to be all in with you for the next 15 minutes or so. We'll see how we flow. We'll see how it goes here. I am so glad to be here with y'all. You know me, it's Dr. Jada, your weight loss and wellness expert, physician coach, speaker, and best-selling author and entrepreneur. I help high-achieving and results-driven women not only weigh less, but further your success through my medical platform, my signature coaching, and my online content, because I want you to not only look great, but feel better and live at your best. So I am refreshed, finally coming off the heels of the summit. I know some of you were there, and I'm still getting so so much great feedback from the Girl Get Ready Healthy Happy Hot Summit. So I want to thank you once again for being there and being such a major part of the success of the summit. We had 3 amazing days and nights, and some really great work went forth. So tonight, we're going to continue in that vein. We are going to talk the month of February about love, particularly about self-love. I think it's such a relevant topic. Of course, February is considered to be the month of hearts and Valentine's, if you celebrate that. And if not, you definitely think of Heart Health Month. So that's another way that we symbolize the heart, and which is almost a universal symbol for love. And then even Black History Month. For most of us, we celebrate Black History Month, and thematically and in any other way, we have to think of that in a very loving, uh, sentiment. So I thought we would continue that theme and maybe kick off this month with the theme of love, specifically self-love, though. What's self-love got to do with it? So I'm channeling my inner Tina. I'm channeling Tina Turner here, and what self-love got to do with it. And I'm going to put 4 things out there that I absolutely know that get in the way of some good old-fashioned self-loving. Okay? 4 things that I know get in the way of some good old-fashioned self-love. So we're going to talk about one of those tonight. And I'll go ahead and give you all 4 of them. We're going to talk about one each week, so I want you to make sure that you come back. But the 4 things that I've seen undeniably in the clients that I work with, whether we're working on weight loss or the other side of weight loss, where we're just dealing with the baggage that has weighed one down for so long, it's hard to really see the other side of success, personal success. So, of course, with high achieving and results driven women, we often are seeing success in the professional realm, in our career and in our profession, and with our educational levels, and all of those ways that success seems to come in the outward capacity. What I like to see us parallel and even supersede is how we experience personal success. And so, one common theme for that is going to be love, specifically self love. 4 things that get in the way of good old self loving. 1, trauma. 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 And, often we talk about trauma and we think about things of the past. And sometimes we think of trauma as some really bad circumstance in life that resulted in hospitalization or resulted in some major shift in life, but we often forget about everyday traumas and even micro traumas from our life experiences. So trauma is one. Another one is self judgment. Self judgment can often get in the way of good old fashioned self loving. What do I mean by self loving? I mean self judgment. What do I mean? Being very critical and being able to see more of the things that you don't do well than the things that you do. Being able to, or not being able to, celebrate and appreciate oneself simply for being oneself without having to do comparisons either to the way that you used to be, the way that you wish that you were, or the way that you're different from others. Self judgment. And very often it shows up as not being good enough. The other thing is self deception. Self deception will get in the way of old fashioned loving, self loving. Self deception, what do I mean? It's the lies that we tell ourselves, it's the deception that leads how we think, what we say, how we feel. And very often it's so separate from our truth that we begin to recognize these lies as the truth. Some lies say that I'm not hurting. I don't feel lonely. I'm okay. No, really, I am. I don't I don't feel that something is missing from my life that I grieve, that I don't acknowledge. A lot of self-deception is around not acknowledging things, feelings, emotions, and sometimes tricking yourself to believe that you're okay when you're really not. Is that you? Hey, who's doing that? We all do it. We all do it at some point. We all do. And so when we get into these patterns of not self-loving, there's one other thing that really is almost like it's kind of like I guess the backbone of it. Maybe we'll say the heart of not self-loving, or what gets in the way of good old self-loving. It's unforgiveness. 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 Not being able to forgive yourself, maybe from past mistakes, maybe from some choices that didn't work out the way that you planned or wanted or expected. Very often I see this show up in relationships. And so we really kind of pair them all together as a form of trauma. I've seen it show up in cases where maybe there's a decision to marry someone that in the back of your mind, I'm not really sure if this is it, but I want it to be it. I want it to be it. I'm getting older. I want to have a family. And I put time into this relationship. I've invested in it. So why not? I may as well move to the next step. And that trauma, when that breakup occurs, can often result in self-distrust and unforgiveness. So many different ways that traumas can show up in our lives that we often will overstep or overlook or disregard, minimize. Remember? Remember that self-deception, that to tell the stories that you want to hear, but are not really true. So what does love have to do with it when it comes to being able to manage your emotions, being able to manage how you treat yourself, being able to manage the conversations that you have with yourself. That internal dialogue is a thing, y'all. Think about how you speak to someone that you really love and care about. Think about how gentle and kind and with concern and with compassion. Do we always speak to ourselves that way? Do we always give ourselves room for error, room to experience maybe what many would call failures, but we can call them lessons? Do we allow ourselves the grace to, to be able to experience some areas of life that are not perfect, but to see the progress in it, which is to me perfection in action? So when we start to think about self-love as a theme this month, I want you to look at these 4 areas this week. Look at these 4 areas and ask yourself the question: where in my daily walk with myself, in my daily relationship with myself, in my daily experience of myself, where are there opportunities to strengthen how I love on me? What's getting in the way of my good old fashioned, deep self-loving? Is it self-deception, not being honest, not telling the truth, not even recognizing your own truth? Is it self-judgment, being hard on yourself, negative conversations, calling yourself names, stupid, dumb, fat, crazy? These things pick up, y'all. These things pick up. They pick up frequencies in the universe, and they begin to manifest in how we function and how we feel. And those emotions show up in other places, right? It definitely does in the people that I work with. Definitely does. Because those channels of that have to find an outlet. And very often those outlets might end up being food with a bunch of emotional eating, or stress eating, or anxiety eating, or depressed eating. And add to that alcohol use. Oh my goodness, I was doing some research for a project recently and looked at alcohol use amongst professional women and the increase in that over the pandemic. Self-medicating to eliminate those bouts of extreme self-judgment and frustration and difficulty with appreciating oneself, right? We talked about trauma and being able to look in your life and see where there are things that essentially trauma is just pain. Where were there painful experiences? And we all experienced it. There is no need to hide or stuff it in the closet or act like it never happened. It doesn't serve you. It doesn't solve. And as I said in a group I spoke with yesterday, even about womb trauma and talking about the impact of fibroid disease and also hysterectomies, and just the aspects of women's health that relate to that anatomy, both physically and emotionally. There's an outlet for emotions, y'all. There's an outlet for feelings. So we want to channel those. We want to be responsible for those. We want to be proactive with those. We don't want to stuff them down and self-medicate and ignore them, lie to ourselves that it's not there. Because it'll keep showing up. It'll keep showing up. In the darndest of ways, it'll keep showing up. And then the last one is unforgiveness. Where are there things that you're still holding yourself to an unmet standard, or you're still holding yourself hostage to a decision or a choice that just didn't quite work out? How many of you are still holding yourselves hostage and unwilling to show grace because there are areas in your life that you're just not maybe even proud of? Where are there opportunities to remove some of those barriers so you can step in the name of love towards yourself? February is known for heart health, love, Valentine, and Black history. What's common in all of that is love. And where does love begin? It begins within. Yep, it begins within. So if you're experiencing situations where love ain't looking like you want it to look, it's not showing up the way you want it to show up. Maybe your folk don't treat you with respect and with compassion, and maybe they don't show concern, or maybe they don't recognize when you're overwhelmed and they continue to add to your plate instead of remove. Maybe you wonder to yourself, what do I think I am, a machine? Do I look like Superwoman? Well, maybe you act like her. Maybe you do. And maybe when we really look at how we love ourselves, we'll see the reflection of that in how others love us too. So think about these things over the next week, because we're going to pick back up right where we left off next Thursday. Oh, wait a minute. I go a little bit later on next Thursday because I'll be on the West Coast. So maybe we'll do that. But we'll pick back up. I want to hear what you have to say about your exploration of self-love, which is always a journey. Don't hold yourself hostage to unnecessary demands and unnecessary and unrealistic standards. You don't have to do that. The only thing I ask you to do is try to love yourself a little bit more, a little bit harder, a little bit deeper, and way more authentically, one day at a time. And watch how it turns things around. Watch how things really begin to turn around when you show you self-love. Yep, those problems and relationships and weight and frustrations and overwhelm, all that stuff may not look like it's going to be perfect to the end, but it gets better. One day at a time, y'all. One day at a time. So that's it for tonight. Thank you for joining me. Send me some feedback. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know what you're thinking. And what are your thoughts on how you can love yourself more, harder, deeper, and more authentically? All right, that's it for tonight, y'all. If you haven't heard it at all, if you haven't heard it enough, and if you can stand to hear it just one more time today, I love you. Now go love on yourself. All right. Bye-bye.